I've picked 5 teams in England for you to take control of. A little bit of fun. A couple of the teams are randomly picked for fairly stupid reasons, but hopefully you're going to like it. So the first one is linked around the fact that David Beckham in the background here, and also in the middle, has just become a Sir, and he is one of the owners of Salford. So I've picked Salford to take charge of. They are currently playing in League 2. And if we go to the club vision, you are expected to gain automatic promotion. Now this is your chance to finally get Salford out of League 2, where they've been kind of stuck there for a little bit now, as well as being competitive in the FA Cup and Carabao Cup. Now financially you're okay, 2.5 million in the bank. They do have a little bit of debt, but it's very, very little payments each month. 7.5k a month. That's not even good. You're not even going to notice that coming out, to be honest with you. In terms of facilities, they have average training and below average youth. So they are 2 things you can maybe look at developing. Now bear in mind, Salford, when the class of 92 took over, famously, were a lot further down the English pyramid. So their rise has meant that background facilities are still getting improved step by step. So in terms of the squad, they've got a couple of very good players. Daniel Odoi, for me, is probably the one I would mention. Very, very talented striker. Joined them from, I think it was Shrewsbury, wasn't it? Sorry, Wickham. I thought it was Shrewsbury. My mistake. He was there before Wickham. And then they've also got the likes of Michael Rose in defence, who's a very good player. They've got a good squad for this level. They are one of the highest spenders in the division, with some 5.5s, 5Ks, 4Ks, 3.5s. Spending more than I think my Wimbledon team is in the division above. But financially, you do have a little bit of play with your 3K under the wage bill at the minute. So there is a little bit of wiggle room if you do want to go into the market and bring in an extra player or 2. In terms of the staff side of things, currently, you only have 1 coach in with 3 spots available, so you can look at adding and creating your own coaching team in Season 1. But just bear in mind that you are obviously expected to gain automatic promotion, so don't dilly-dally bringing in some young coaches hoping they can develop with you. Get some people who are tried and tested at this division. You are expected to go up by the media as well, with a 7-2 promotion odds on the season preview. So I think it will be interesting to see if they do go up in the simulation even, never mind with you in charge. The next club we're going to look at is Torquay, who were based down in the National League South. Now this club in the early 2000s were in League 1, and for myself, they are a club who used to have such a rich history. Bear with me. I actually have in my shirt collection a old Torquay shirt from the early 2000s. So just thought I'd pull that out of my shirt collection to show you. But this is a club that desperately, and I mean desperately, needs a rebuild and get taken back up. So financially, there's that thing where it doesn't actually show you what your finances are. We need to go to overview. So financially, you have £150,000 in the bank. You are spending all of your wage bill by about £500, so you need to get that off before you can look at signing anybody. But there is no debt, which is positive. Facility-wise, you have a good stadium, 6.2 thousand capacity, 3,000 seats, with adequate youth and training facilities, so they have a decent footing to start developing the team. In terms of the first team, you've got a good depth in the first team there. Highest quality player looks like it's your highest earner. Yeah, your 4 highest earners are your 4 best players. You have Jordan Young, who is a attacking midfielder. He looks really, really good. I think he could be a great player at this level. Matt J as well is a very good player at this level as well. This is the type of club that interests me if I was doing a rise from the National League up. I've done a few in the last, it's a couple of years since I've done one, but not this year. Maybe next year, you never know. But Torquay, for me, are a club which you could definitely do something with. You are expected to reach the playoffs, so you're not expected to finish first or second, which is nice. It gives you that little bit of leeway. Reach the first round of the FA Cup and be competitive in the FA Trophy, so they're not demanding too much. In terms of the staff, You only have one of 3 staff at the minute, so you can look at building your own coaching team. You also need to bring in some scouts because you don't have any of them at the minute, as well as bringing in maybe a physio just to make sure your players are recovering and getting back on the pitch as quickly as possible. In terms of season preview, you are in 3rd place, a 13 to 8 to go back up. You also have a negative at the minute of 19k on transfer spend. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. You've made a bit of money. I think that means you made money. Potentially. But yeah, 13 to 8. 3rd favourites to go up behind Dorking and Dagenham and Redbridge. I think it would be a very, very interesting club to see if you can take them back into the Football League, back into League One, and then maybe knock on the door of the Championship. So we are now going to Truro. So we're staying in the southwest, and Truro are at the highest position they've been. So they are now in the National League, and this club is punching well above their weight. Let's put it that way, shall we? So, in terms of the club, if we go to overview, because we need finances, and the game's broke for that, 69,000 in the bank. And then you can see here that you are under your wage budget. Your wage budget is 24. You're spending 23. There's no debt as well. So, again, fantastic. You're in a good position. Facility-wise, 4,100 capacity. Basic training and poor youth. So this is a club which has always been lower down. So they've never really developed the facilities. So that is something you do need to do. But season 1's going to be a bit difficult. So you probably should focus on just keeping your job. Especially when, for me, it's going to be a struggle to keep them up. And you are expected to keep them up. Avoid relegation. Reach the FA Cup proper. Be competitive in the FA Trophy. And competitive in the National League Cup. So it's going to be difficult to achieve these things, I think, with them. In terms of staff, you currently have 4 staff where you can only have 3. So you're over your staffing. So you kind of don't need to focus on that. You can focus on just building the playing team. Looking at the playing team, there's a couple of decent players. I will say I do like a couple of the players in this team. If we go there, the best player is on loan. It is Sean Donnellan on loan from Livingston. He's a decent defender. 6'1". He's just a good central defender for this level, to be honest with you. I don't mind him. You have Aidan Marsh, who has really low determination, but apart from that, he's a decent player, 22 years old. But I think one of the biggest issues you have to deal with is some of the highest earners are not that good. You've got players on $750 a week here, for example, who are only a 2-star current according to your staff. $650 a week here. It's a lot of money you can cut just letting 3 or 4 of these players go. You're going to save a couple of K. And a couple of K at this level, you could technically bring in maybe 1 or 2 star players by releasing 3 or 4 average players. So that is something I definitely would be looking to do and recommending to do with Truro. But this could be a very fun save. So in my opinion, give Truro City a go. So moving on to Cambridge. Now I picked Cambridge because they seem to think they have turned into Inter Milan with the logo. That is literally the reason I picked them. So let's have a look through the club. Overview wise, you have 1.7 million in the bank. Financially, look, now it's showing me the bank balance on this screen. Oh dear. You have some debt, but you're only paying 5.2 thousand a month on that, so that's not going to affect much. You also have 1,000 a week on your wage budget still to play with. In terms of the facilities, a 8,000 capacity stadium with good training and good youth facilities, so they do have good facilities, which is great to see. In terms of the club vision, this is another challenge with gaining automatic promotion expected from League One, being competitive in the FA Cup and Carabao Cup, and working towards being self-sustainable, which I do think is a great thing to achieve in Football Manager anyway. So that is something I think all clubs should be asking you to do. Coaching team-wise, you do have a spot for 1 more coach, but you do have 2 assistant managers. Work that out. Maybe they're going with that continental approach of multiple assistant managers. In terms of the first team, a couple of decent players in this squad. Shane Lavery, a striker stroke left-right winger, is very, very talented. Really, really good mental attributes as well, which I do like on him. And then you've got Peli Ruddock Mpanzu, who I think is really, really talented. He's better than any of my midfielders, and I'm playing in one division higher. So Cambridge City, Cambridge United, Cambridge City, Cambridge United, Cambridge City. No, it's Cambridge United. I can't remember. It's Cambridge United. Yeah, it's Cambridge United. I think could be a really, really fun little save to take over. On the season preview wise, you are 6th at 9-2, and I honestly think you can be in the round. You can be in the round. Bristol Rovers, I think you're better than Chesterfield. So it would be interesting to let me know what you can do with Cambridge United. Maybe it's just Cambridge. Oh no, there's a U. You see the U, Cambridge United. The final club I'm going to recommend is a nice challenge for you. Transfer banned until the 31st of December 2026. So the first 1, 2, 3 transfer windows you can't sign anyone. Sheffield Wednesday. Now, financially, the club's not too bad. 3.3 million in the bank. You have a lot of debt. You are paying a lot of debt. 500,000 a month. You're paying out on the debt. So that is going to make it a little bit of a challenge for you there. Facility-wise, obviously have a massive stadium. 34,500 capacity used in general matches. Average training, average youth facilities. But this club is a massive, massive club. Staff-wise, you have 3 slots available to improve, as well as bringing in a couple of scouts. Probably wouldn't bother with the scouts early on. You're not exactly going to be using them. In terms of the first team, a couple of decent players. Barry Bannon at the age of 35 is a stalwart and someone you desperately need to hold on to. Make sure he doesn't wander off. As well as Nathaniel Chalobah, who started obviously at Chelsea, is a very, very good player even at this level. Now, in terms of what is expected of you, you are expected to avoid relegation, be competitive in the FA Cup and Carabao Cup, and grow the club's reputation. Now, avoiding relegation is going to be a struggle because of just the fact that all of your players are gone. They are third favourites to go down at 200-1. I think that could be, well, it is definitely the hardest challenge of the teams I gave you just because you can't sign anyone for 3 windows. Is Truro more of a bigger club build? Yes. Is the short-term challenge harder at Sheffield Wednesday? Yes. Comment below which one of these teams you're going to take charge of. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.